Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to Should You Play The Witcher 3? So, should you play The Witcher 3? Now, a lot of people have been very excited about this game. There's quite a few reasons for it. The first one really is obviously The Witcher has been a great series, and if you excuse the pun, it's been a very PC-centric series. The developers, CD Projekt RED, are awesome when it comes to PC features. They really seem to care a lot. I mean, the first couple of games were PC only originally before the console release. Looking quickly into the options menu, you will see there's plenty of options as you'd expect. The post-processing, we seem to get this a lot now because the next-gen consoles seem to need it. I'm going to slightly change the settings, I think. I run this on a 4K television, and then I have it downscaled to 1440p. The only thing really, and the only setting that isn't here that I'd quite like to see would be a sort of slider so that I could run it at 3840 by 2160, but then just have the game sort of render at 2560 by 1440. But I don't think that is something that is here, unfortunately. It might be something they can patch in. But for example, Dragon Age Inquisition, which is arguably one of this game's biggest rivals, had that. And it just means if you've got a 4K display, it's going to be a bit easier for you to actually run it without having to tax your system. But you see there's loads of options here. I've got them down slightly so I can hit more or less a minimum of 60. It does sometimes drop to about 55. The only real setting I will say that most of you should have off, and when I say most of you I mean pretty much all of you should have off, is unfortunately NVIDIA Hairworks. And if you haven't heard of this, it's one of the... It's not NVIDIA exclusive, but it's pretty much going to only run really properly on an NVIDIA card. Now, this wouldn't be a problem because most people have NVIDIA cards, and obviously if you don't have it on, it's not the end of the world, but it just taxes your system way too much. They've patched it since I last tried it, actually, increased the performance, but it's just not worth having it on, to be honest. It's really not worth having it on. I have to say it was a similar story with Tres FX, with Tomb Raider, but definitely unless you've got two cards, I would recommend having it off. But yeah, you see there were plenty of settings there. I'll just quickly go back and just go through a few more of them. The foliage visibility range, this is going to tax your system quite a lot, especially if you're in a place like a forest. Texture quality, you're best off leaving on ultra because I don't think that's going to make too much difference to performance. That's more of a VRAM thing. It will of course affect performance, but not as much as some other settings. So these are my settings anyway, so these will get you about a minimum of about 55. Most of the time capped at 60. On a 1440p screen. So, The Witcher 3 then, it continues really from The Witcher 2. I have to admit, my big confession is that I never finished The Witcher 2. I got into it quite late and managed to get about 2/3 of the way through. And then, of course, some new games came out and I had to go and look at those, so I never actually finished those. I do like to play with a controller though. Keyboard controls, you know, are absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with those, as you'd expect from a PC-orientated developer. Load times are pretty damn good, especially if you've got it on an SSD like I do. If you don't, again, it's not going to be a massive deal, but obviously, you'll have to wait and kind of see for yourself. So this is the game world anyway, and you can see it looks pretty damn good. The game runs pretty well, pretty efficiently on most setups. You're not going to really have too much of a problem unless you've got a really low-end system. You can see it there, it looks absolutely gorgeous, and this isn't the maximum of all settings. So I'm pretty happy with the way it looks, and I'm pretty happy with the way it runs, but like I say, this is running on a GTX 980 paired with a Intel 4790K running at 4 GHz. So quite a high-end system, but you should be able to scale it appropriately as well. So we're in the middle of a story mission here, and we've got to find an agent called Hendrik. Pretty grim.
Tortured him. Maybe they missed something.
Cutscenes always look pretty good as well. If you do put NVIDIA Hairworks on, then that is the main place where you're going to really see the benefit.
Dry midwinter. Maybe hid something in his jerky.
If you've never played the Witcher games before, then essentially it's a pretty deep RPG. I hate to use the term, but I guess the first way I would say of describing it is it's almost more of an adult sort of game, if that makes sense. that's not a knock to younger people. It's just it's definitely orientated around quite a deep, dark story. And there's some of the things I quite like about it is if you want to go and say do a hunt and you want to go and hunt a beast, then you want to go into the options menu, and then you want to go to the glossary, and then into here, and then you can see what all these different beasts are weak against. So an earlier one, I was attacking a griffin, and you could see that my best bet of attacking him was using one of these 3 things. So you've got to think about what you're trying to do in this game, otherwise you will get quite badly hurt, so to say, and you might find it quite difficult. The game so far has been pretty good at sort of teasing you without giving too much away when it comes to the story, and also with the gameplay as well. And by that I mean you'll sometimes go near places that might be a random encounter, random event, and that people will be quite a high level, especially at the start of the game. And you're best off leaving them and coming back later. It's all marked on the map.
Gotta be a space under this road.
And it just means that there's quite a few things to do sort of later as well as now. The game world is absolutely massive. If I quickly open up the world map, you'll see it's absolutely massive. This is just one region here. All these question marks are undiscovered locations, so these could be chests that need to be uncovered. These could be places of power that will give you upgrade points, all things like that. And so this is just one region, and then you can see about 5 to 6 hours into the game, and these are the areas I've unlocked, but I imagine there's going to be quite a few more as well. But all of these places are massive. So if I go into White Orchard, which is the starting place, you can see there is a lot of stuff here, and there's a lot of stuff to do. So you're definitely not going to have to worry about things to do and getting your money's worth. But then again, it wouldn't be a very good RPG if you didn't. The inventory system, it's all pretty easy to navigate, and if you want to switch, like I am now, between keyboard and mouse and control pad, then you don't have to muck about like you have to do in some other games. You can literally just go from one to the other seamlessly. We've still obviously got that silver sword and steel weapon mechanic, where you have one sword for slaying beasts and one for your more traditional sort of enemies. The inventory system itself is pretty easy to navigate, whether you're using a keyboard and mouse or whether you're using a controller. It's all quite nicely sorted into appropriate categories, and it's all pretty easy to use it. Your quick selection, so if you want to do bombs and consumables and stuff in your pockets and stuff like that, you can use quickly without having to go into this menu. But if you do want to, say, like eat something like a bit of bread, then you can do that all from here. Crafting is done at a crafting place, so you need to be at an appropriate crafter. There's one of them around here somewhere. Obviously you need to discover them. If you want to do some alchemy, then you can create potions and other things that will actually help you out, so like oils that you can put on your weapons to help you slay certain beasts and things like that. And you only need to make these once, and then you can kind of refill them using some alcohol, I believe is the system. You might eventually run out. I'm not entirely sure how it works. It gets slightly complicated, but it's fairly easy to kind of work out as you go. If you, like I say, if you want to do the crafting, then you need to go and find a crafter, and that's how you get your best items. And everything is pretty expensive as well. At the moment anyway. I'm sure I'll get more money later. But I quite like that. It basically means that you really have to work for all your items without being spoon-fed, especially stuff like pre-order DLC. There's nothing really, as far as I can tell, like that is going to risk spoiling your game. The character upgrades screen is pretty simple. As you go through the game, you can get ability points, and these ability points will unlock new abilities. So like here there's some herbal ones, here there's some combat ones, and you can upgrade each ability a certain amount of times. And then you can put them in this tree here, and you can see I've only got 2 slots at the moment, because you can get points without leveling up. But if you get points without leveling up, then you won't really be able to use them. So you see I've got 3 abilities, but I've only got 2 slots. So one at the moment is having to wait until I'm level 4, which shouldn't be too long. It takes quite a while to level up. I mean, it depends obviously how long you want to play for a session. I normally do about an hour and a half sort of sessions at a time. But leveling up, I would say, so far is happening at a pretty good rate anyway. So that's all that sort of system. The meditation system is back, and it just means you can replenish your potions, heal if you're not playing on a hard difficulty, and just change the time as well. So if I want to change the time now to sort of when it's going to get dark, let's have a look. So about 7 PM. Then all the lighting is pretty dynamic. Well, it is dynamic, and just things will look completely different. So if I go outside now, you'll see that the time of day obviously has completely changed, and the lighting looks pretty good, I have to say. This is actually the first time I've been viewing this on. I'm viewing this on a 4K monitor rather than 4K television, and everything looks super sharp. It's pretty impressive. If you do want to run it in 4K, trust me, you're going to need a really high-powered rig. You're going to need at least a couple of graphics cards, or something like a Titan X or a dual. An AMD 295X2 actually will probably do the job as well. But to give you an idea, single GTX 980 max settings, 4K, got me about 12 frames a second. So yeah, you're gonna need something pretty powerful. Where am I going here? I need to find a key. Where's the key? Where's the key? Am I going mad? I don't know if... Oh yeah, probably should say, if you want to attack people, you can also use these magical spells as well, and you get more throughout the game. So this is like a fire one, but you also get like a magical shield, some traps and things like that. So you can be pretty clever in how you actually want to tackle. You have to be pretty careful about how you want to tackle different things, but you can play the game in completely different ways as well. Oh, maybe... Alright, so I had the key. Alright, well that would explain it. Down we go. Okay. So yeah, the story so far, essentially we were after a woman named Yennefer. We were looking to go and track her down and find her. That's at the start of the game. Obviously I won't say any more than that. At the moment we're kind of looking for someone else now. And one of the bits of story has led me to this village, and then something bad has happened and we're trying to work out what is going on. Story has definitely kept me engaged so far, it's definitely fair to say. 105 coins, that's unheard of thus far. The maximum I've been given is something like 20 so far, so that's a lot of coins. Okay, so we have these Witcher senses, so almost think like Batman detective mode, except maybe less Batman-y is probably the best way to describe that. So you can do things like... Oh, what's this? What's this? A secret passageway. Classic.
Interesting.
Right, where are we going now? Into the secret passage. Oh, so far, anyway, from what I can tell, it's definitely more open-worldy than The Witcher 2 was. I know that The Witcher 2 definitely took you almost from zone to zone, whereas this definitely seems more sort of Dragon Age Inquisition style, where you've got different large areas to explore. And if you don't want to do the main story, then no problem there. There's a whole host of quests that you can pick up from boards, just people that you'll walk past with exclamation marks, and you can go and speak to them and then do quests, or you can just go and find stuff as you go. So there's definitely a lot of choice in how you want to play.
Missing and wanted. Subject appeared in Skellige, also cited in Novigrad. Appearance unchanged. Ashen hair.
Texture quality is some of the best I've seen. Obviously you're going to get the benefits of that at higher resolutions, but it's definitely one of the best I've seen. Which is what you'd expect, really. I've heard the console versions are all running at about 30 frames a second. The PS4 version is capped at 30. It sometimes drops. The Xbox One is uncapped and runs between about 20-ish, a bit higher than 20, and about 40 or so I've heard from the Digital Foundry report. I wouldn't normally skip this, but I think we don't really want to be here all day.
I'm too late. Damn.
So what else is there to say, really, about the game? Well, we need to actually talk about the gameplay itself. We talked about the story, talked about the graphics. Sounds are all pretty good, pretty varied. The music is spot on, I have to say. It is really pretty cool. Sometimes it's similar stuff. Sometimes it's the same sort of noises. But it definitely helps to really put you in the sort of thinking that you're actually there, the feeling that you're there, which is what you're after. Right, so you can double tap left stick if you're using a controller, get your horse over. Here comes Roach, and then we can actually show you some of the gameplay mechanics and some of the combat. So horse system is horse system. So much better than that of Inquisition, because you can actually fight people on the horse rather than just kind of going near them. That was always pretty annoying. I know I said in my review of Inquisition that I didn't really mind, and I didn't really mind, but it is definitely better to have a system where you can actually quite happily sort of attack people while on your horse. You can see there's my griffin head. You can attach it to your horse, look, and then that is a form of a trophy that helps to scare people off, and you gain like an effect for that, which is pretty cool. But you just look around, the world is so thick and varied. I mean, there's all this talk of like the Witcher 3 downgrade from the original materials that was shown in 2013. But here's the thing, and here's the thing why I'm not that bothered about it. There's no way I would be able to run it, okay? There's no way I would be able to run this game with all that stuff turned up. That's why they took it out, okay? Because people wouldn't be able to run it. It was more because the consoles wouldn't be able to run it. But if I can't really run this at max settings, even at 1080p, at a constant 60 on a GTX 980, then I don't think there's going to be too many people that we're going to be benefiting from that, to be perfectly honest with you. So you can see here, I'm basically trying to not die. I'm playing on quite a hard difficulty, and you've got the little bar at the top left hand side, which is your sort of spell meter that shows how, it's like a stamina meter actually, but that's how much, how often you can cast spells and actually attack people. Right, so very carefully here. The AI generally is pretty good. There's been a few times I've noticed where I have been slightly disappointed with the with the AI, just where they almost like haven't tried to attack me as a group and they've kind of just stood there and waited. But that has only happened once thus far. Oh my god! Right, I need to take him out. I've got a crossbow I can use as well, but understandably it doesn't do as much damage as some other stuff. Go on, take him, take him, take him, take him! I like to roll out the way, that's kind of my strategy, no! Which doesn't always work. But you can also dodge, block, parry and stuff like that. So it's up to you how you want to play it. Go on, bang, 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 bang. Take him, take him, take him. Take him. Oh no, I'm going to die here, this is bad. You can also use potions like you see, but if you use too many, then your toxicity meter will fill up. And then you will start to be poisoned and lose health and other bad effects. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to use a crossbow. Take him. There we go. So it doesn't do much damage. You can obviously upgrade your crossbow and get a better one later. Right. I'll show you the blocks, shall I? Oh no! Well, I'll try. Oh no! This is intense. Oh dear. No, it's all over. That's embarrassing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing on a hard difficulty, alright? You got to let me off. But it's always so fun to be attacking people, you know? Because the combat system is that little bit harder than what we're used to, again, going back to Dragon Age Inquisition, it's just, if you can do it, it's a bit more fun, to be honest. The quick save system you have is going to be absolutely fine if you're using a keyboard and mouse. But if you are using a controller, then you've got to manually go and save every single time you want to do like a quick save. And while it's quick to do, to actually physically save it, it's, I don't know whether it's doable, but I'd almost like there to be like a quick save button with the controller as well. But understandably, there aren't that many buttons, so that's probably why that system isn't there. So you don't lose too much progress, but sometimes it is a little bit annoying that you don't kind of load from nearby where you were before. So the combat system though is spot on really. I mean, it takes a while to get used to, especially like I said if you're playing on a harder difficulty. This is not easy combat, you know, it's not quite Dark Souls combat, but in the same sense that Dark Souls takes a while to learn, this takes a while to learn as well. But there's loads of different strategies to actually to do what you want to do. So you see now I can save. This is what you got to do every single time you want a quick save with a controller. As far as I can tell anyway, could be wrong. Right, let's do this. I'll use some different spells. We go big. Right, I'm going to try and dodge this time. Oh, that's going to go badly. I need to put my shield up. Trick is, if you want to win, you've got to put your shield up. Otherwise, you're just not going to do it. And you've got strong attacks, you've got heavy attacks, so you can follow strong attacks up with heavy attacks. all sorts of things. Oh dear, that was not very good. You can also attack from your horse, like I said earlier, which I probably should have done, but should have just gone in there all guns blazing sort of thing, but I didn't. Right, okay. There you go. See, that was the block, look. That was me trying to block and failing. You can also use Axie to kind of put them under a spell, but I haven't leveled that ability up very much, so I can only stun them. Which, to be honest, I'd rather use something different. And you can see there, he now managed to attack his own guy. Get out there! Careful, careful! That was good. How we like to do it. So you see, like, if I cast Axie, like, they'd be stunned, and then I can just go up and bang. And you can also get critical hits if you attack them from a certain position. I like to just use the fast attacks. I like to be quite nice and flexible. Doesn't always work, as you can tell. Oh no! Careful. Let's play it like, there we go. So we'll dodge, and then we'll follow up with one of those. There we go. Same with him. Bang. Follow up. And then I'll show you the parry. There you go. See? That's... Oh, dismembered. Look at that. And then you can loot their corpses. And then you can trade stuff in, dismantle it, create new armor, and just everything else that you'd kind of generally expect. And that is the main gameplay mechanics in The Witcher 3. I was going to say The Witcher 2, that would have been bad. In The Witcher 3. So, that is essentially what the game has to offer. Whether that is something that is going to appeal to you, it's very simple. Do you like RPGs? If you do, this is one of the top ones. This is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. And play it on something like a 1440p monitor with a high-end setup, and you are going to be blown away with how good it looks. I mean, I know you're looking at this obviously through YouTube, and I've kind of accidentally, I believe, done this video at 1440p. So I apologise if the frame rate was a little bit off. I kind of forgot it was in 1440p. But yeah, I mean, I've got time, so I'll keep it like this and upload it like this. Just tell me. I know there's compression, but this looks so good. The dynamic dynamic lighting is awesome. The gameplay is awesome. So fun to play. Such a big world, and it is quite expensive, obviously, because it's a brand new game. But again, this is what I'm saying with Dragon Age Inquisition. The value prospect is so good. You've got so much to play with here. It's going to keep you amused for a long time. And here's the thing. I finished Dragon Age Inquisition. I played it for like 60 odd hours and I really did like it. And then I kind of finished it. And then when I was trying to explain to my friends and obviously do the video review why I liked it, it was quite difficult to pinpoint what it was I liked about it. There was just some sort of charm about it despite its flaws that I liked. But this, there's just very little that I don't like about it. You know, I mean, the worst thing I can say about it is that at the moment I've been so busy that I almost don't have that many time to play games. But this is really starting to change that, and that wasn't a bad thing to say about this game. I don't know what that was. You can fast travel as well from these posts here. So if I go, all right, mate. And then you can see you can fast travel between posts. So yeah, that is just what I have to say. This is an absolutely gorgeous game. Look at that. An absolutely gorgeous game that runs pretty well. You're going to need a high-end system to be able to play with it. I mean, when I say this runs pretty well, you've got to realise that some of the lower settings are going to be similar to high settings on some other games. You're going to need an appropriate rig to play this game, but it just looks gorgeous. The gameplay is great. The story so far is great. And there's just very little I would want in the game that's not in the game. So thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope it's been helpful, and I hope it's shown you that this is an amazing and gorgeous game. If you have any questions about this game, at PC Centric is the best place to catch me. Probably should, as always, state that this game was a review copy that was sent to me by the publishers. So if you feel that has affected my opinion in any way, I apologise for that. But whoa! I've upset the guard. But yeah, of course, it's always good. It's always, you know, I always need to declare that I've received a review copy. So that shouldn't make any difference. But if you feel it does, that's the situation. Don't forget to like this video if you've liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like this. Plenty more videos coming up. So there's classic reviews coming up, casual plays coming up, and just all sorts of other videos.
Seen this man before. In at the crossroads. You brought us around. As I recall, you were to go your separate way.
Oh. There's also key story decisions you can make throughout the game. You have a certain time limit. Think Mass Effect decision system. Again, same as The Witcher 2, really. Decision system that will affect the story.
If he makes any trouble, well, we outnumber him.
It just looks so good.
Open the gate. Sergeants. Ardle. Witcher to see the Baron. Don't want no disturbances. That clear?
What do you think?
Don't want no disturbances. There are certain effects that only actually affect the cutscenes as well. So you get stuff like depth of field and things like that will only affect the cutscenes. So they might not. If it doesn't seem to you like they're making any difference to your frame rate, that's probably why. But yeah, thank you so much for checking out this video. I will leave it here because there's so much stuff for you to discover for yourself, and I don't really want to ruin as much as I can. So thank you so much for checking out this video. Like I say, don't forget to leave a comment either here or on Twitter, and I will see you in the next video.